Advancements in imaging continue to transform the way medical professionals practice and treat their patients. And for the 15,000 members of the Society for Nuclear Medicine and Molecular Imaging, the annual meeting is the premier event to gain unparalleled access to the latest scientific advancements and research developments. This year's meeting will be held virtually, and we're here to show you the highlights on SNMMI TV. Hello and welcome to SNMMI TV, a show created for the community of physicians, technologists, pharmacists, laboratory professionals, and scientists, all working to transform medicine and improve lives. On day 2 of this annual meeting, we'll take you to the Biswal Lab for pain imaging at Stanford, where physicians are doing everything they can to find relief for those suffering from pain. Plus, what's the focus for the organization in the coming year? Incoming SNMMI President, Dr. Richard Wahl, shares his thoughts. And later in the show, we find out more about the SNMMI Virtual Exhibit Hall. But first, let's take a look at today's top events of the meeting. On the second day of the meeting, you can join the Women in Nuclear Medicine breakfast, featuring best-selling author Margie Worrell, who will discuss how to balance family life with career development. In today's plenary session, you'll be able to hear about the President's year in review and enjoy the Henry N. Wagner Jr. lectureship given by SNMMI past president and world-renowned neuroimaging expert Satoshi Minashima. Then we move into a day filled with continuing education sessions, scientific sessions, satellite symposia, followed by the first of 2 basic science summary sessions, which will be held today, organized by CMIT and the RPSC. This session provides a great overview of the basic science that's on display in the Science Pavilion. Pain, whether it's lower back pain, headaches, or other, is now collectively the #1 disease in the world. And yet our current imaging methods to correctly identify pain generators remain woefully inaccurate. But physicians at Stanford University's Department of Radiology are attempting to address that through research and ongoing clinical trials.
The mission of the Biswal Lab for pain imaging at Stanford University is to help those suffering from pain. This is the most prevalent disease now on Earth, and I just feel we need to do a better job.
Our imaging is unique because we do not really depend on the findings from the structural imaging. We do offer the structural findings, but we augment that by offering molecular imaging evidence, which is coming from experimenting with this new molecular tracers.
So this imaging allows us to drill down. Here's where the problem is. This is where it's active. This is where it's hurt. And then we are able to focus our intervention to hopefully treat what's causing the pain.
We're bringing in a new era of medicine, and I'm hopeful using this technology to better diagnose patients suffering from pain.
There's a potential for this to completely change the way that we treat pain these days.
From Stanford to St. Louis, Missouri, where incoming SNMMI President Dr. Richard Wahl serves as head of the Department of Radiology at Washington University School of Medicine. Dr. Wahl, thank you for being here. What attracted you to the field of nuclear medicine and then to SNMMI?
I, in college, was a chemistry major, very interested in sort of the more hard science, but with an eye toward medicine. And in medical school, I found that nuclear medicine in particular brought together medicine, hard science, chemistry, physics, computational work into one field. So I found it really a very interesting space, bringing together hard science with medical science and patient care. The SNMMI has been my main professional society throughout my entire career. My particular interest has been in oncology, and nuclear medicine has led for many years in the oncologic applications of radiopharmaceuticals. So it's been my go-to society, and it remains so. And I was really delighted to have the opportunity to help in leadership in the society in my various roles, but now as the president of the society.
Talk about your goals, what you hope to accomplish during your presidency.
My focus this year will really try to be on, can we assure access of patients who need nuclear medicine to the studies? And this is multifactorial. It deals with, do we have the right workforce? Do we have the right economics for reimbursement? Do we have the right distribution of the workforce? Do we have the right policies and procedures and legislative approaches for nuclear medicine to be widely available?
What are you particularly excited about during this annual meeting?
This will be a much bigger virtual meeting than our meeting from last year, and there will be a much broader and richer scientific program covering more areas of nuclear medicine. There's a broad range of data that will be coming out at the meeting, and one of the nice things about the field of nuclear medicine is it brings together, again, the nuclear medicine scientists and data scientists, as well as bringing together clinicians and technologists. One of the other things that I'll be announcing is that we are forming centers of excellence in therapeutic nuclear medicine, that is radiopharmaceutical therapy centers of excellence. And we hope that this program will help raise the level of quality and availability of radiopharmaceutical therapies throughout the country. And we hope many SNMMI member sites will participate in this Center of Excellence program. We think this will benefit patients as well as those undergoing the procedure and performing the procedure in terms of codifying some of the requirements, best practices, and having an SNMMI pathway to this Center of Excellence designation. We're excited about that.
We've developed new terminology after a year of virtual meetings, such as virtual exhibit hall. The exhibit hall is always a lot of fun at the annual event. Dr. David Schuster joins me now to explain how it works in a virtual format. I know you really had to pivot. Tell me about this year's SNMMI exhibit hall and what's new and exciting.
Well, I'm particularly excited about the new refreshed interface that we have. And I thought last year was really great. This is even better. We have 3 halls. In the gold and silver hall, you can browse easily since all the booths are laid out right in front of you. There's really no need to scroll. There is no need to scroll at all. And the big hall, which has 113 booths altogether, that also contains the gold and silver booths. One has to scroll through them, but there's a company hall directory banner at the top in the big hall, so it's easy to search. The larger booths have multiple screens and 3D roaming capabilities. You want to check out kind of the different layers of content. And one of the things I'm most excited about is a briefcase feature. If you just look to the right of when you're visiting a particular booth, you'll see a little briefcase. And if you were there in person, you would have your SNMMI bag, and you'd be putting all this literature in or booklets, and it can get quite heavy. But all you have to do is, click on the briefcase, and it'll electronically load those in for you. And in fact, we may even incorporate that in future hybrid meetings.
Do you have any tips for navigating the exhibit hall floor?
So a number of things. First of all, you could link from banners in the outer lobby directly to booths and to custom webinars. But this is different than the rich offering of satellite symposia and user meetings that we have set up for you. So satellite symposia, there are 14 of these, and they are at dedicated times during the day. And satellite symposia are separately held in the auditorium, so they will not conflict with any general programming. In other words, they're built into the agenda. There's also the traditional user meetings, and we have 12 at the last count. And just like when you go to a regular meeting, those are the ones that they'll be in early AM or late in the day, depending on your time zone.
Typically, we have these face-to-face interactions. How can attendees reach out to booth holders if they have any questions or want to talk?
So first, if there is a chat available, and not all booths have that chat available, it'll be marked in the left. There's like a little window on the left. Or you can certainly email questions because email is also available. You could also link to the About Us page in the different booths, and that has other contact information. Also, anyone can chat with anyone else in the meeting, if you're actually in the meeting at that time, by using the top banner chat. So anyone can seek you out who is live on the platform.
SNMMI TV is brought to you from inside the Society for Nuclear Medicine and Molecular Imaging's annual meeting, featuring interviews with leaders in the field and industry news making headlines across the world. We're also bringing you the latest research and developments from across the globe. You'll find us on the virtual platform in the lobby, the SNMMI TV booth, and on social media. We'll bring you a new episode each day of the meeting, so make sure to watch for much more from the world of nuclear medicine and molecular imaging. Next up, I'll be speaking to Dr. Satoshi Minashima, who's delivering the Henry N. Wagner Lectureship later today, titled From Molecules to the Universe. Dr. Minashima, thank you for being here. What's going to be the focus of the plenary session?
Because of the history of almost 40 years of development, there are many molecular brain imaging technology, investigated in the past, and some of them have been translated to clinical applications. If I think about for the last 10 years, most exciting development is really dementia imaging. So dementing disorders such as Alzheimer's disease, we have a little better understanding of pathophysiology and molecular pathophysiology of the disease. So along with a better understanding of the process and mechanisms, specific radio tracers such as amyloid imaging and the tau imaging, and also neuroinflammation imaging. So all of those molecular brain imaging technologies have been developed in the last 10 years, 20 years.
Would you talk about some of the most recent developments in the field of brain imaging and how patients are benefiting from these developments?
Amyloid imaging, for example, and some of the tau imaging tracers, these have been approved, and amyloid imaging has been even actually covered by CMS for reimbursement under evidence development. So I think clearly the use of those technology helping to identify patient who does have an amyloid deposition in the brain, and those patients may be treated by anti-amyloid therapy. So it's such exciting development in the last 10, 20 years.
How do you expect the field of brain imaging will change, let's say in 5 years from now?
Application, some of those brain imaging technologies, not just dementia, but also psychiatric disorders and brain tumors and epilepsy and multiple sclerosis and so on. So I think this very strong R&D or research and development is going to really open up opportunities to think about how these technologies can be applied to clinical problems we see in the modern society.
That's it for day 2 of this virtual meeting, but there are more episodes to come. Here's a quick look at tomorrow's program, which includes a lecture on the power of artificial intelligence in nuclear medicine.
It will enhance the quality of the data. So for instance, in nuclear medicine, it will improve the quality and the accuracy of the molecular images delivered by the scanners.
Be sure to tune in tomorrow. Until then, I'm Dina Baer for SNMMI TV.